guys, it's the Doll Place.
And today we are doing something a bit different. We basically surveyed a very large majority of AGTube, asking them 11 questions. It should be 10, but we did 11.
Yeah, so basically we just thought it was really interesting. Like, I don't know about you, but I find my opinion about certain doll things, especially if they're controversial, interesting, and I wanted to see what the general community thought. So yeah.
So here are the 11 questions scrolling across your screen very fast right now. Did you catch any of those? Okay. So anyway, yeah, we surveyed over 100 people. Obviously, you don't want to see everyone's in-depth answers of that. I mean, if you do, okay. So we picked a couple of just AGTubers, AGIGers to answer the questions more in-depth and upfront and in person with you guys, and all of their profile photos are scrolling across your screen right now as well. And be sure to go follow them.
Hi, this is Agjitters.
Hey guys, it's Reagan
and Quinn
from Chickenbiscuit AG.
Hey everyone, it's Caitlin.
Hey guys, it's Mikey.
Hi, it's Becca from Boymeetsdolls.
My name is Shannon, and my YouTube and Instagram is My Doll Neighborhood.
Hey everyone, it's Sprinkles from the channel AG World Sprinkles.
So yeah, there they are. Now let's get into the questions.
And the first question is, what would your dream doll look like?
Fun. What would your dream doll look like? I've always wanted a mini-me doll. I mean, I don't really look that unique. I have brown hair and brown eyes, kind of like most of the world's population. So, I guess a doll that kind of has the same haircut, hairstyle, hair dye situation going on, I guess would be kind of cool. Maybe a doll with like a face shape that looks more similar to mine, because I don't really feel there's a face mold that I really resemble.
What would your dream doll look like? She would have the Josefina mold, dark skin like truly me number 80. She would have gray eyes and medium wavy black hair.
My dream doll would probably be the darkest skin Jess mold with long black wavy hair.
I like number 43.
And I like a number 13 with blue eyes.
Definitely a Mary Grace mold with long straight red hair, blue eyes, and a ton of freckles. Like a ton. American Girl doesn't have enough dolls with freckles, especially with a lot of freckles.
My dream doll would probably be a Sonali mold with a Leah wig or something of that sort.
So my dream doll would have the Jess face mold because that's my favorite face mold. Freckles all over her face, green eyes, and dark brown or black hair because I think that would look gorgeous, and that would be a doll I would definitely want to buy.
Those are all beautiful dolls, and they all sound really, really gorgeous, and I would want American Girl to make every single one of them.
So, taking the responses from everyone that we surveyed, the average answer in the AG community is a Jess face mold, medium skin, blue-green eyes, and long, curly, brown-black hair.
Which, this doll is gorgeous. You guys have great taste. Now, moving on to the next question. If you could live one of the historical characters' stories, whose would you pick?
I would probably pick Julie because I'm really into fashion and I think 70s fashion is kind of cool, so I could like wear it in public and like be normal.
If you could live one historical story, who would you pick? Felicity. No.
Julie, because she's the closest to present day.
Molly's, even though I hate the doll.
And I would choose Caroline's because I like her outfits.
Kirsten all the way. She was my first and definitely favorite doll. I also think that Mary Ellen's story would be fun to live in.
I can't even really remember them, really. I mean, none of them have really like an easy life. Maybe Julie. Yeah, actually Julie. Because the 70s are cool and it's modern enough.
So I would definitely want to live in Melody's time era period because I find that historical moment interesting, especially because of what was going on and how people didn't have equal rights. And I just would like to see how that was back then. And I've always been really interested in that time period.
All of the historical characters have such amazing stories, and I mean, I don't know which one I would pick. But the American Girl community ended up deciding on Julie's, which I think is pretty reasonable. The next question is, do you prefer AG photography or AGSMs?
I'm obviously biased. I definitely prefer stop motions because that's where I've started from. That's just what I prefer. I love doll photography though. I have a lot of fun taking it and I like scrolling through AG Instagram, but stop motions is where I'm at.
I don't do stop motion, so photography.
Photography. It's so hard to make stop motion look good.
Overall, we really like live videos, but we'd have to say photography.
Definitely HSM. Stop motions are just so much more fun, and they take a lot of time, which is nice to see them coming together.
I prefer stop motion. It's tiring, but I think the end product is a lot more satisfying.
So it honestly depends on my mood, because sometimes I'll be up for filming a stop motion and I'll be really motivated to film it and edit. And other times I'd rather prefer to go on a photo shoot because it's a bit easier. So it really depends on my mood that day, but usually I enjoy making stop motions more.
Both are great, but
The American Girl community said photography, which photography is amazing. So yeah. The next question is, do you ever get hate comments?
I actually really don't get many hate comments, which is a good thing, obviously. I've gotten some like rude or dumb comments in the past that I kind of just like, I'm like, whatever.
I've had one hate comment before.
Yes, but not actively.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, definitely not.
Occasionally, but I tend to get more love than hate, and who needs the haters anyway?
Not really. I got some random comments, like when Ricky and Shane watched my video, there was a bunch of random people who weren't really AG people that just came over to my channel, and they're like, whoa, this is kind of weird, but it's not really hate.
So I'm not sure if this counts, but recently I got a comment saying my idea for a video wasn't original, but I gave credit to the person I had the idea from. So they were kind of being a bit rude and annoying, but as in hate, I've never gotten a hate comment.
Fortunately, it seems like the American Girl community doesn't seem to get that much hate and everyone is really supportive. So yeah, the average answer ended up being no, which is great. It would be bad if it was yes. The next question is, at how many subscribers do you consider an AGTuber or an AGIGer famous?
I definitely don't think numbers is what determines someone's influence or fame or whatever you want to call it. I don't really know how to answer this question. I'm a channel that has 30,000 subscribers, but I struggle to get 1,000 views on a video. So, I mean, take that, think of it however you want, but that just kind of goes to show that like numbers does not equal popularity. I definitely do think it's more of like an engagement thing, how many people are actually keeping up with your channel. Numbers do not matter, it's all about just creating. This is what AGTube and AGIG is all about.
5,000 and over.
I would say around 50,000 and 10,000 respectively.
AGIG, I'd say around 10,000, and AGTube.
1,000?
For AGTube, I'd say around 2,000 subscribers is really popular. Well, not too popular, but you know what I'm saying. And 10,000 is famous, and that's about the same for Instagram.
I feel like maybe like 10,000 is famous, and AGIGers like 20,000 maybe.
Consider a famous AGTuber probably 1,000 plus subscribers, and for AGIG I would say you're more recognized by the community when you have 600 or 700 and more, but as in famous, like you have fans maybe, I would probably say 2,000 plus.
So truly, these answers differed so much, and honestly, numbers really don't matter. The average answer was about 2K for AGTube and 10K for AGIG.
The next question is, what do you want for Girl of the Year 2020?
What do you want for Girl of the Year 2020? Next question. Please, American Girl, not another dancer. We have had so many of those. I'm hoping that this doll will be a lot more diverse. Maybe a doll that was like born outside the US, even though Leah was Brazilian, she was born in Missouri. So I don't know, I kind of feel like American Girl missed the bar for that one a bit.
As long as she has a unique story and is not a dancer, then I'm okay with whatever.
I'd want Girl of the Year 2020 to be Asian, possibly Thai, Filipino, or Malaysian, or African American. I don't know what her hobby would be though.
I've always said this. I want a Filipino girl who is dealing with moving a lot because her parents are in the military. So she deals with a lot of change and stuff. And I don't know if you knew this, but that's like basically my story. So that would be really funny if they had that.
Cool if they had like a shoulder length strawberry blonde haired doll with bangs, a nice classic mold.
You know, maybe a soccer player and a dog lover.
Question 6. I'd love to see a Mary Grace mold, or definitely the darkest skin tone that American Girl has, and maybe a skater because I feel like American Girl doesn't represent enough of the more tomboy sports. Everything's always like pink.
So I definitely want a doll of color because AG really needs to step up their game with more diversity, especially with a Girl of the Year line. And what would be really cool would be if at one point they had a Girl of the Year with a disability, because that would be something more creative and really cool from AG.
All of these sound like a great Girl of the Year. I don't know why American Girl has failed at some of them. There's so many great ideas out there, and like you can clearly see that just from like these people. The things that ended up being most prominent in all our votes were not a dancer, a doll of color, a great story, a doll with a disability, or maybe a doll that's more of a tomboy. American Girl, please hear our wishes.
The next question is, have you spent more money decorating the dollhouse or buying doll clothes?
I've definitely put more time and money into my dollhouse. My dolls don't have very stylish clothes, but I'm very proud of their doll rooms.
I don't have a dollhouse, but I buy more stuff that would go in a dollhouse, so I'm buying more furniture and dollhouse accessories than I do doll clothes.
Honestly, neither, but I guess decorating dollhouses more.
Probably buying doll clothes because I just make all the decorations pretty much. I don't have a single American Girl furniture except for like Julie's furniture.
I've definitely spent more money on the dollhouse just because furniture is so expensive and I have so many tiny accessories, and I tend to not have that many doll clothes from Etsy or anything. Even though I seem to be always buying doll clothes, I don't have enough for it to be a huge amount of money.
So I actually don't have a dollhouse, sadly, so I have definitely spent more money on buying doll clothes.
So the average answer of the AG community ended up being doll clothes. The next question is, do you sew doll clothes?
I used to, and I was not very good at it, but I do have a sewing machine, so I would like to give it another try.
Yes, I do, all the time.
I used to sew a lot of my doll's clothes, and I occasionally still do, and I've made some of my favorite pieces in my doll's wardrobe.
The average answer ended up being yes, so that's pretty neat.
The next question is, who do you believe is the strongest American Girl character?
I've always thought Kit was. She went through the Great Depression. I feel like you obviously had to be super tough to go through that time.
Felicity or Krista, or Felicity and Krista.
Just from the context of her time period, I think Addie is, but I haven't read her books.
Who's really the strongest, but I think one of the stories that resonates the most with a lot of girls today would probably be Krista's story, because bullying and just kindness in general is a big issue that I think that every girl, or not just girls, but every kid growing up should learn. So I think her story is very relevant.
Kit.
Kirsten's definitely the strongest. She's overcome so much more than the other dolls, from moving across the world, not speaking English when she gets to America, and losing her best friend to sickness, all before she even gets to her home. That's a lot to go through.
So I would say that the strongest character is definitely Addie Walker because of the time her story takes place in and how she deals with everything that's going on, from being separated from her family and how people again didn't have equal rights in that time. So she had to face the reality of what was going on in her story, and I just think that's really creative that American Girl had a pretty accurate story for her, and she has to face reality of what's actually going on, which in my opinion makes her a really strong character.
There are so many strong American Girl characters, but in the end, American Girl has decided that Addie or Krista is the strongest. They were both tied, and they're both very strong. The next question is, what time period would you like American Girl to make a historical character?
They already have my favorite time, the 50s, so I don't know. I'm not really sure, because I already like Mary Ellen because it's the 50s.
Maybe too recent, but any time from the 80s to 2000s.
80s or 90s, because then they could bring back old outfits, or I don't know, just the style of the clothes then was really cool. So I think that would be a cool historical time period.
I really want a 1980s doll, but I also kind of want a 1920s doll.
I'd love to see American Girl 100% do the 80s and eventually the 90s, just to see their take on the fashion, even though it'd probably be more pink and girly than what was really in the era, but I'd really love to see 90s and 80s. Even though that's not really that far from now to be considered historical, but it was like 80s 40 years ago, so I think they can give it to us.
But maybe a doll from either the 1840s to the 1920s, anytime there, because it's when women didn't have the same equal rights as men. So a doll focusing on that exact problem would honestly be really cool in my opinion.
The answer ended up being a tie for 1980s and the 1920s, which would be very cool to see.
The last question is, what is the worst thing that you think American Girl has ever done or created?
I think that either the perma panties or the neck strings, or the no neck strings, sorry, the zip ties were the worst thing that American Girl has ever done. Perma panties literally had no purpose to it. The zip ties are extremely annoying because when I'm making a stop motion with my doll that has zip ties on her neck, I can't move her head very well, which is very inconvenient for me. So yeah, American Girl, what are you doing with that?
What is the worst thing? I would like to say Marie Grace, because I really don't like Marie Grace, but it's probably not the worst thing they've ever created. And for the worst thing they've done, I'm just not sure. I'm sure they've done something though, but I don't know.
Not making any adjustments to Truly Me 46 when making her the girl of the year. Like, not even changing how her hair's parted.
I don't really know. Just like maybe like the big ticket items. Not that they're bad, they're just like really expensive, so I'd never pay like $500 for a bakery or how much it was. I'm not really sure. Maybe like the quality of certain items that have gone down, but there's nothing specific that comes to mind.
Definitely when AG brought out the new eyes.
I think one of the hugest mistakes American Girl has done is, of course, perma panties, the body cloth, the eyes. But what's disappointing for me was that they made Gabriella Girl of the Year, just because reusing that doll kind of ruined the first Black Girl of the Year character and took some of that from her, just that she was a reused character when they released a Truly Me that looked really similar to her, but with longer curly hair. I feel like that should have been Gabriella. It would have made the whole situation better.
The Girl of the Year 2017, which is Gabby, and isn't it ironic that she's standing in front of me? But I would just say her because she was just so rushed.
And the average answer ended up being perma panties. They were not that great. So yeah, there is all of the questions and everyone's opinions, and this was a lot of fun to see like what the overall American Girl community thinks about things, and you know, like we're just such a great community. So you might be curious about our answers to these questions, and if you're not, it's okay. We're just going to give you our quick answers. The first question was, what would your dream doll look like? Something with a new face mold, or even just playing around with different skin tones with face molds that haven't had it, like the Nenea mold.
I think my dream doll would be like, I don't know, trying something different, maybe like a dark skin, like number 80 on Nenea. I don't know.
If you could live one of the historical stories, who would you pick?
For me, the answer is pretty obvious. Even though they didn't have indoor plumbing and things were a little rough around the edges, socially wise, I would definitely pick Marie Grace and Cecile because, like,
ooh, that's a nice time.
Yeah, I just love that.
Do you prefer American Girl photography or stop motions? Well, we used to do stop motions, but now we do live videos for the Doll Place series.
There's definitely a reason we stopped doing stop motions.
They were horrible for us. We know. So yeah, definitely photography. Do you ever get hate comments?
Yes. It's mostly on our best and worst of videos. We kind of expected to see negative comments on there, so...
And it's different. They're not people just stating their opinion, it's just some people got a little harsh.
Yeah.
At how many subscribers do you consider an AGTuber famous? How about an AGIGer? To me, numbers really don't matter. If they did, I would have, like, been off AGTube a long time ago, because we've been on since, like, 2014.
But to give, like, a general number for me, I feel like about 2,000 for AGTube and 3,000 for AGIG.
And that's just like the level of, I guess, where you're reaching fame. Of course, there's those really like high up ones where you're like, you know, American Girl sends them stuff, but just the level of like people know your name. Yeah. What do you want for Girl of the Year 2020? I would like a doll with some kind of medical condition.
I do really love the plot point that Gabriella had with her stutter, and I wish that, like, I don't know, we had more Girl of the Years really have real problems and disabilities, learning disabilities.
I'd like to see a doll maybe with, like, epilepsy. I have epilepsy, and, you know, like, that kind of thing would be really cool.
Yeah, so
something like that. Or, like,
I don't know, just, like, medical conditions, but, like, not lactose intolerance. I'm talking real medical conditions, because a lot of people are just, like,
I just want a
they don't
strong
talk about
story.
it.
Even if she doesn't have a disability, I just want a strong story, a strong personality, and not another dancer. Have you spent more money decorating the dollhouse or buying doll clothes? Well,
I think the dollhouse, and just the only reason saying that, because we've had our dollhouse for literal eons. Like, I don't know if we still have the photo.
We don't. It's had an evolution. There used to be a Littlest Pet Shop room.
So yeah, definitely the dollhouse. But
do you sew doll clothes? Yes.
Sure do.
We do.
We have an Etsy shop.
Who do you believe is the strongest American Girl character? I'd say definitely Addie, Krissa.
Yeah, that's such a
maybe even McKenna,
that's
Felicity.
Such a difficult question because a lot of them are strong in their own right.
I'd just say Addie, Felicity,
Krissa, Kit even, I think is pretty strong.
They all, see, the historical dolls, they all have, like, their, like, you know, but that's what I want for the Girl of the Year 2020, is more like a Krissa kind of a character. Like, get some real problems in this, like, your life, you know?
Yeah, man.
What time period would you like an American Girl to make a historical character? I'd like to see a 1920s doll, like a roaring 20s. What do you think is the worst thing American Girl has ever done or created? Quite honestly, American Girl doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, to me, the standouts of, like, I was slightly annoyed, would be Tinny and Gabriella. I just think what they did with that whole situation is really kinda messed up.
It's not the dolls themselves, it's the fact that they, like, twisted things that year. I don't like that. So there's ours, and you guys saw all of the American Girl community and all that. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to get to see everyone's answers, like, a lot of people's answers.
So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone involved in this, especially the people who sent in video clips. Like, you guys mean the world to us, and yeah, this was such a fun, like, experiment. And of course, all of the channels or, like, Instagrams will be linked down below for the people that were in the videos.
And also, if you want to subscribe to us, that wouldn't make us mad. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.